Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of SpongeBob Now. Today, I will be talking about Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and Pickles. First, I'm going to talk about Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Enjoy! SpongeBob and Patrick begin the episode watching a TV series centered around the famous superhero duo, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and subsequently roleplay as them. They decide to visit Squidward and pretend he is the supervillain Reflecto. Squidward is quickly annoyed at his neighbors' antics, and tell them that Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy actually live in a nursing home, having retired years earlier. SpongeBob and Patrick decide that these crime fighters have resumed their careers, and go to the Shady Shoals rest home, where they are met by the male nurse. He escorts the friends to the superheroes and tells them not to surprise them. SpongeBob tells them that superheroes should no longer be retired, but they should continue to fight evil. Mermaid Man creates a panic when he hears the word, evil, leading the caretaker of the nursing home to throw SpongeBob and Patrick out for surprising them. While the former crime fighters are going to the cafeteria for lunch, SpongeBob, refusing to give up, arrives and makes an inspiring speech about how superheroes should not be retired. After SpongeBob is done with his speech, Mermaid Man angrily pronounces SpongeBob man and wife, meaning that he'll be kicked out of Shady Shoals, alerting the caretaker, who is told to kiss the bride, help kick SpongeBob out. SpongeBob and Patrick come up with a new plan to free the superheroes from retirement, so they would never know SpongeBob was out of his banishment. SpongeBob, disguised as a woman, complains about the weight of a purse he is holding, and Patrick, disguised as a criminal, steals it. Suddenly, Barnacle Boy, who is in no way deceived by the disguises, comes to SpongeBob and tells him to pipe down because Mermaid Man is taking a nap with his eyes open, but he tells Barnacle Boy to stop shouting and they start arguing, until SpongeBob interrupts them and says that he and Patrick have painted their invisible boatmobile. After telling SpongeBob and Patrick that their invisible boatmobile is supposed to be invisible, Barnacle Boy becomes fed up with SpongeBob and Patrick bothering and irritating him and Mermaid Man as he decides to end the argument and convinces Mermaid Man that evil is right in front of them, as Mermaid Man is shocked to discover that SpongeBob is back to Shady Shoals for revenge on them for kicking him out. He takes out their rings, and they resume their careers. The newly reunited crime fighters get into a fight with SpongeBob and Patrick, who are impervious to their attacks and joyed that they have brought their heroes out of retirement. Finally, the heroes are lucky. They are helped by elderly residents of a nursing home, who pick up SpongeBob and Patrick and throw them away from the retirement home. The heroes then celebrate on a job well done. Eventually, a new show of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is created, The New Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. The duo play checkers, then suddenly, the phone rings. Mermaid Man picks up upside down, fails to hear the person on the other line, and hangs up, thinking the phone is broken. The announcer says, "Will our heroes ever get their phone fixed?" Tune in next week and find out. After watching the new episode, SpongeBob enjoyed it as he thought it was better than the old show, and when SpongeBob winks, the words appear, wink. Next, I'm going to talk about Pickles. Enjoy. At the Krusty Krab, an overweight fish named Bubble Bass arrives and makes a very long, complicated order. SpongeBob quickly assembles the patty Bubble Bass has on his mind and serves it to him, but Bubble Bass points out that he forgot to add pickles. SpongeBob is so horrified by this that he slowly begins to lose his mind and cannot remember how to create a proper Krabby Patty. Mr. Krabs tells him to go home and get some rest, but this does not help matters at all, as all of a sudden, his inability to make a Krabby Patty is also affecting everything else about him, which is confirmed due to him mistakenly believing that the Krusty Krab's front doors were missing and him losing his sense of direction. Back home, as night fell, it worsens when he is unable to sleep on his bed properly and Gary has to keep correcting him. His struggle to sleep properly lasts through the whole night until the next morning. As his alarm clock goes off the next morning, his mental state worsens. He tries to think of a way to turn off the alarm clock despite the stop button being right in front of him. Instead, he tries blocking the horn with Gary. While SpongeBob is gone, Mr. Krabs has Squidward take over for him, but Squidward just burns all the food, including a shake, and drives away all the customers. Mr. Krabs worries about losing money because of this and decides to visit SpongeBob's house, where he finds everything in disarray. Worse still, SpongeBob is now unable to speak sentences properly, though Mr. Krabs quickly fixes that one problem. Mr. Krabs explains to SpongeBob that if he remembers how to make a Krabby Patty, he will regain his confidence and be able to return to work. It takes several days, but eventually, SpongeBob, despite ranting at first, remembers how to make a Krabby Patty properly from his frustrations. SpongeBob returns to the Krusty Krab, where he cleans up Squidward's mess. As the citizens become happy to see SpongeBob, Bubble Bass interrupts the moment and confronts him again. SpongeBob serves him his meal confidently, knowing full well that he didn't forget the pickles, but Bubble Bass announces that he has forgotten the pickles again, much to SpongeBob's confusion. However, when he looks closely at Bubble Bass's mouth, SpongeBob realizes that Bubble Bass has been tricking everyone by hiding the pickles under his tongue the whole time to avoid paying, as well as the pickles from last time. As the crowd tries to confront him for his devious ways, Bubble Bass immediately flees the restaurant to avoid their punishment, though the crowd decide to not bother going after him. Instead, Mr. Krabs has everyone give 3 cheers for SpongeBob returning, which they gladly do. SpongeBob then asks them to give 3 cheers for Squidward for taking his place while he was gone. However, the crowd jeers instead because of the awful job he did. Squidward's frown gets droopier and droopier with every jeer. They do it 4 times, but SpongeBob assumes they're cheering and continues to chant, much to their chagrin, until one fed-up customer just ends up yelling, "Boo, you stink." Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Goodbye everyone.